What is up, my friends, and welcome to the UFL Week In Review, one of the longest-running UFL podcasts in human history. It's episode 42, and we are deep into training camp 2025. This week, we break down the latest controversy as the United Football Players Association accuses UFL owners of breaking the law. Plus, we analyze UFL Championship Odds, rank every QB room in the league, and bring you interviews with UFL co-owner Dany Garcia, Memphis Showboats head coach Ken Whisenhunt, plus two exciting announcements coming up, including a live show. So stay locked in, hit that subscribe button, and let's get into it.
We love the moments, the memories, the magic, the game. So let's get more. More action. More celebration. More unforgettable. More football. More of what you love.
The United Football Players Association has accused the UFL owners of breaking the law. This came out after our podcast last week, so it looks like things are getting more tense as we get closer to the kickoff on March 28th. The UFPA has filed an unfair labor practice charges with the National Labor Relations Board. They put out the following press release, filed unfair labor practice charges with the National Labor Relations Board in connection with their ongoing collective bargaining agreement. The UFL is funded by Fox, Dany Garcia, Dwayne Johnson, Redbird Capital Partners, through the independent union, United Football Players Association. The players reporting the following unlawful conduct on part of the UFL, threatening to cut players because of their participation in protecting union activities. But I don't think they have a union. But I'm sure that, I don't know. Cutting Quinton Dormady, which we talked about last week, in response to participation in said union activities. Creating new rules regarding player discipline to discourage players from participating in union activities. Creating rules regarding players' discipline that have a reasonable tendency to chill players from exercising their right. Denying the union access to league facilities, interesting. Threatening to remove union representatives from any stadium to which the union has lawful access rights. Engaging in surveillance of player representatives to discourage them from participating in protecting union activities. Okay. Increasing the program of surveillance with respect to player participation in union activities. Well, they just have an intern follow them. Threatening to discipline players and failing and refusing to provide information requested by the union that is relevant or necessary to collective bargaining agreement. This all goes on the heels starting in February 22nd when all the QBs sent that letter to Russ Brandon and Daryl Johnston saying that the proposal was unacceptable and insulting. And then the rest kicked off all that stuff. On March 5th, ESPN reported allegations that the league management threatened to cut players. We reported that against Quinton Dormady. And that's where we stand right now. So as of March 19th, nothing has changed from this point. And this was on the 14th. So we'll just have to continue to watch this and see if this story unfolds. But we're getting closer and closer to kickoff. So hopefully there is some resolution coming soon. We have the UFL Championship Odds. The Stallions, of course, are the favorites. We'll get right into it. Mike Mitchell had this out. So there have been some changes around the margins for several of the UFL's 8 teams. However, a year after the USFL and XFL condensed from 16 teams to 8, there is a lot less turnover and more continuity heading into the 2025 season. So constant with spring pro football since 2022 has been the Birmingham Stallions. They have won 3 straight league champions. Their first outdoor pro football team accomplished that feat in the United States since the Green Bay Packers in the 60s. Of course, the Kansas City Chiefs fell short in their matchup with the Philadelphia Eagles. No one was talking about that. BetMGM has the Birmingham has odds on favorite to win the UFL with St. Louis next best shot. Defenders, who made the XFL championship game as a 9-1 team 2 years ago but missed out last year's postseason with a 4-6 mark, are preseason dark horse to hoist the UFL trophy. Last season's runner-up, San Antonio, has the same odds as well. Predictably, Memphis and Houston are the 2 teams that combined for 3 wins last season, faced the longest odds of doing the unthinkable. So as of right now, Stallions are atop at plus 225. $10 bet gets you $32.50. Battlehawks plus 375. All of these are $10 bets. Get you $47.50. DC Defenders and San Antonio Brahmas at plus 600. they gave you $70. Michigan Panthers, $75. Arlington Renegades, plus 1,100. That gives you $120. Memphis Showboats, 1,400. That gets you $150. And then Houston Roughnecks, 1,800, gets you $190. So basically, this is the rankings. And this seems to be, to me, the most realistic going forward. The defenders could drop. The Panthers could, maybe the defenders and Panthers might be able to, swap spaces perhaps. But other than that, I really think that maybe the Renegades are a little bit better, and I'm hopeful the Showboats are better. But that could be a way things look. I think we'll have a much more competitive season in 2025. Make sure you follow UFL News Hub. We'll be doing, odds and, fantasy stuff, all that good stuff during the season. We'll make our picks, so hopefully you can win some money during the season. But there are your championship odds. Let us know what you think in the comments. Make sure you like and subscribe. Quarterback rooms. So the 2025 season is around the corner, less than 2 weeks away. So we got to debate which ones are the best, who are the not. Now, last season, 6 of the 8 UFL franchises started more than one quarterback, with 12 of 16 USFL, XFL franchises starting more than one quarterback in 2023. While UFL certainly has their stars, it's crucial that each room has at least 2 QBs that are capable of going forward and leading their teams. I mean, we've got a lot of change this year. So he's got at the bottom, Houston Roughnecks, Anthony Brown, Nolan Henderson, and Jalen McClendon. Remember, McClendon was like a backup for the DC Defenders. Nolan Henderson. We still haven't heard of anybody who is kind of heard some tweaks, some stuff online about Anthony Brown as possible being the guy, but nobody's really standing out. And there's still the feeling is that Houston will kind of be at the bottom of the barrel. He's got number 7, the St. Louis Battlehawks. That's right, without A.J. McCarron, Max Duggan, Manny Wilkins, Chivion Cordero are the 3 guys. Manny Wilkins looked decent last year. Clearly, this was before Max Duggan came into the picture. The Battlehawks were okay with getting rid of A.J. McCarron. I think they felt like they had a guy in Manny Wilkins. The pressure is on because this team needs to perform potentially to keep the UFL from surviving. And we've talked about this in other shows about, the potential 8 games in St. Louis would bring a lot of revenue if they give the players a bump. We want to see new franchises. So really could come down to Manny Wilkins. The guy that everybody's excited to see, and I am too, is Max Duggan. It's definitely there. Now, San Antonio Brahmas, he has at 6. Kellen Mond seems to be the guy going forward. People are excited about him. Kevin Hogan and Jarrett Guantanamo have played in the league last year. Not very exciting stats. Didn't really get to do much. But A.J. Smith knows what he's doing with the QB room. He's worked with guys before. We will see if San Antonio has a guy. Remember, Kellen Mond seems to be the guy. And really, it's just A.J. Smith. I think anybody will do well in that offense, and I think Kellen Mond will do well, but we don't know because he has no stats. So it'll be really interesting to see how that goes. He's got Michigan Panthers at number 5, Bryce Perkins and Dany Etling. Remember, they got rid of E.J. Perry. He is out, so Perkins and Etling, I think Etling will probably be the guy. It seems to be that way. Between Perkins and Etling as Q, it's pretty good hands. Rocky Lombardi is the 3rd quarterback. No stats on him, lacks experience. So it's really between those 2 guys. And I think Dany gets the head there. DC Defenders, your team, America's team. Jordan Ta'amu, what can you say about him? One of the top players in the league. Kind of an off season last year. We lost Abram Smith. The offense kind of struggled a little bit. I think they started coming in their own towards the end of the season. They're getting some of their wide receiver back. They have a good team. They got Mike DeLilio and Spencer Sanders, 2 guys with no experience going forward as far as spring football goes, new guys. So it's up to Ta'amu. If he gets hurt, we could be in trouble. With your team, America's team, remember, the DC Defenders is America's team, and that's your team. We'll see how it goes there. Memphis Showboats, he's got him at number 3. E.J. Perry, Troy Williams. Remember, they got rid of Quentin Dormady. They signed Dresser Wynn. We don't know much about him. I would assume E.J. Perry played really well, I think, for the Michigan Panthers last year. I think he's going to be the guy. Troy Williams was okay in the USFL with the Pittsburgh Maulers, but we'll see how he does going forward. But I think EJ Perry is the guy. Number 2, Arlington Renegades. It's so funny because the team is just no one's excited about the team, but Luis Perez is the king of spring. What can you say? Holton Olliers is new, and so is Luke Linehan. We'll see how those guys play. Olliers was there last year. Luke Linehan is a rookie, so we'll see how he does. But clearly, Luis Perez is the top dog. And then, of course, number 1, Birmingham Stallions. Alex Magoo is back. I think he's going to tear it up. Matt Corral also played well. Case Cookus is a veteran of the UFL and spring football. To get him, too, is really surprising. I would probably venture to say if I'm the Birmingham Stallions, I would use him as trade bait during the season. If somebody gets an injury, Case Cookus is the guy. And listen, you want to play with the Stallions, light it up. I mean, I would have loved to see Case Cookus potentially with the San Antonio Brahmas. I mean, that would have been more interesting to me there. But those are the rankings according to Pat Ruffino. He knows a thing or two about quarterbacks. Let us know what you think in the comments. Make sure you like and subscribe. And remember, ranking the UFL's quarterback rooms, you have it right there. But hey, there's just more than quarterbacks. There's wide receivers. There's defense. That's what makes the championship game. So it'll be interesting to see how the ranking of the quarterbacks do versus how the teams perform in the 2025 season.
Want every United Football League score and stat at your fingertips? Download the UFL News Hub app, now available on the App Store and Google Play. Get game scores, schedules, and stats right on your phone. Set up alerts for breaking news. Check standings and league leaders with just a tap. The UFL News Hub keeps you connected with game scores, team schedules, start times, player stats, and rankings. Don't miss out on UFL action. Download the UFL News Hub app today on the App Store or Google Play Store. UFL News Hub, your direct connection to United Football League action.
To UFL life, yeah. Being an owner, year 3 of being an owner. I don't know if you ever get acclimated to it. It is a fantastic, thriving, challenging, beautiful sport and beautiful position. But I will say it gets better and better every year. And, you know, our scrimmage today, we had 2 of our teams out. The energy is great. The guys look great. A lot of really good conditioning. So, yeah, all good things.
What are you hoping to see this season as the league grows?
Yeah, you know what? A continuation of what we had last year. You know, we have 84 players currently right now signed with the NFL. We had a tremendous level of success, a tremendous level of play. I'm always looking for that. I'm always looking and wanting our athletes to be performing dynamically, to be getting the most out of this experience. More innovation, more technology. We've made more investments there. And of course, to grow in our communities. We're looking forward to our fan bases continuing to grow. We had great numbers in media. We were on linear with Fox and ABC, and we'll want to see that as well. So more spring football.
And now, just down the street, you got the headquarters.
Yeah.
Can you just talk a little bit about HQ and what we'll see from that?
Totally. A few weeks ago, I was able to officially open UFL HQ here in Arlington. That's a massive, massive milestone for us. You know, Coach spoke about it just earlier that all of our teams and all of our coaches are now in one location and come together. So we can do so much more. It's so much more efficient. It puts a stake in the ground as far as who we are. It allows a place that really shows our culture, and at the end of the day, it allows us to take better care of our athletes.
You know, you feel good about the way the guys have been working. I'm very impressed with the attitude and the work ethic of these guys as players. You know, you're always trying to install scheme and trying to do things to put them in the best position. And, you know, we're working on that, but you still have to get a feel for what players can do what and, you know, where areas where you think you can be good. So we're still working through some of those things. But the one thing that's been very encouraging is the way they work on the field. You know, there's a good energy with the team. They're excited about it. And I think, you know, that certainly makes the coaching staff and myself excited about it because these guys work hard. They're willing to work and they're very hungry. So hopefully that'll translate into some wins for us. You know, we brought Dresser in just because he's a young guy that we think had some talent, but he was so far behind from the scheme part. You know, he's learning as he goes. And then between between Troy and EJ, both of those guys, we've been rotating the reps equally, and we're trying to prepare them both. We're going to need them both at some point during the season. So it's been good. The guys are both working hard. There's a very good chemistry between both of them. They talk. I mean, even though they know it's a competition and somebody's going to have to come out of it that way, they've been good. So, we feel good about, number one, being able to get them reps, getting them enough reps so they'll be prepared. And number two, the way they've approached it. They've approached it like pros. It's never an easy thing, but I've been very pleased with that.
Hey, football fans! Just because the NFL season has wrapped doesn't mean the thrill of fantasy football has to end. Introducing NewsHubFantasy.com, your year-round fantasy football haven. Dive into the action with the United Football League and Canadian Football League. Whether it's the UFL's dynamic plays or the CFL's strategic battles, we've got you covered with fantasy leagues and weekly pick'em games that keep the competition fierce and the stakes high, all season long. Best of all, it's absolutely free. Join existing leagues to challenge the community, or create private leagues to compete with friends. With NewsHubFantasy.com, the game never stops. Strategy, camaraderie, and the chase for fantasy football glory continues beyond the NFL, bringing you closer to the sport you love every day. Don't sit on the sidelines. Visit NewsHubFantasy.com today, sign up for free, and keep your fantasy football season going. Because here, the game never ends. NewsHubFantasy.com, where football fantasy lives all year round.
All right, I hope you enjoyed those interviews, and we want to wrap things up real quick. Just two quick announcements. First of all, by the time this comes out, it's very exciting because UFL, our channel, which started in 2018, now has over 1 million views. So that's a nice little accomplishment, if you will, for UFL News Hub or an XFL News Hub. So congratulations to us. We got 1 million views. That is exciting. Also, we're going to do a live show. I was like, what was the other thing? Live show, 7 p.m. Eastern time, an hour before kickoff on March 28th. Yes, we will be having a live show, and we'll just we'll go live and have fun with it. Maybe we'll get some guests on, but we want to kind of get a pregame going about the game. Super excited. I mean, I am super pumped for UFL to come as long as everything is chill. When it comes to the labor stuff, maybe we'll get some guests on there and get your questions. So email podcast@UFL News Hub. We'll also probably have another show because today, as the show comes out, is also going to be cut downs. So we're going to want to kind of go over those things, kind of see how things play out. Maybe look for us for something on Friday, maybe with some more interviews. Let us know if you like that as well. So that's what's going on there. Let's get to just real quick a couple news and notes. ANSRS teams up with the United Football League to transform game planning. They're a technology firm, stats and data stuff. They're going to have that wearable thing on the chest. I believe that was the fast people. I forget. But one of the things that Intelligence automates the game data entry process and provides coaches instant access to all the reports they need for game planning, self-scouting, and play calling. System also is fully integrated with Catapult's Thunder Cloud, allowing coaches for the first time ever to simultaneously access the video associated with every aspect of data in the reports, breaking down the film and tracking opponents' tendencies in real time. So this is some software that they're using. Ultra-fast data and video management platform will create unprecedented efficiency in the game planning process. This stuff. One of the things the UFL is doing is that they are, and I think they want to, and I think this is smart, is use their platform as an incubator for new technology for pro football. And that is something that they could leverage too. We knew that like True Turf or whatever it is, they actually have a trademark for that. And that was the whole line thing that they had before. So, I think this is another smart aspect of their league is where they can kind of be an incubator to new technology stuffs, maybe, even invest in them. And then if things come out on top, they, could sell it. So that's another aspect that the league, I think, is doing a good job is letting these incubators come out, test out their systems. I mean, clearly at the end of the day, they would love to be part of the NFL, but you also have tons of college football and those where there's a lot of money. So this is one of the things as well. The other interesting thing is Pete Kendall, and I remember him, was named UFL Offensive Line Specialist. So a veteran, brings extensive background on offensive line play to a new position, having excelled in both his career as a player and a coach. Played 13 seasons in the league with notable stints with the Seahawks, Cardinals, and Jets. I remember him with the Jets and Washington Commanders. Over his career, Kendall established himself as a reliable and technically sound player, earning the respect of teammates and opponents alike. Known for his versatility, played guard and center, making a valuable asset on the offensive unit. So basically, he is coming in his role in the UFL. Kendall will work closely with coaches and players to enhance the performance of offensive lines across the league. This is great. We have a coach that's just strictly for the quarterbacks, and having a coach that's strictly for offensive linemen, I think is fantastic. You can still have coaches in the league, and I think that's a good way to kind of bring one guy in to do multiple teams. I think is a great way to kind of train them up, and this is excellent. I think these two moves by the UFL were excellent moves, in my opinion, and that's the way I think they should be doing things. But there you go with that. All right, my friends. That's it for this week's show. We will be back probably Friday or Saturday with another based on the cuts. We'll kind of go through those things. And then we'll probably have a show Wednesday, normal. And then we'll do a live one, so you get double shows. So by the time this comes out, hopefully we've reached over 1 million views on YouTube. We're excited about that. And we're excited about the season. It is finally here. It is around the corner. We just need to get this labor thing done, and then we're ready to rock and roll. All right, as always, God bless. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. That's it for me, folks, and I will see you all later.